And if anybody is like a regular here and they know how to get the coffee going, maybe you can go help us. But I haven't been here that much, so no, I'm not regular. But if I were, I would know the coffee.
I meant it when I said I want to be a
Okay, it's 2:00. So we're gonna start this with just a moment of silence. Just remember why we're here and kind of center ourselves, and then we'll get everything going. Okay. So, my name's Jeannie, and I'm a friend of Harriet and Tom's, and I thank everybody for showing up. Standing room only, it does my heart good. And we do have some extra chairs up here. We have Kleenex on every aisle. We have food up there. But like I said, when we close, we're gonna do food and fellowship in here so we can all get loud and talk and just kind of embrace each other. At this point, I'm gonna bring up Jeanette, and she's going to start this off by singing for us.
I want to say, my name is Jeanette and I'm an alcoholic. And I'm so honored to be able to sing at Tom's celebration of life, and I'm so honored to sing for Harriet too.
Big breath.
People get ready, there's a train a-comin'. You don't need no baggage, you just get on board. All you need is faith to hear the diesels humming. You don't need no ticket, you just thank the Lord. Da-da-da, ba-da-da-da. People get ready, there's this train to Jordan. It's picking up passengers from coast to coast. Faith is the key, open the doors and board 'em. There's room for all among the loved and lost. Ba-da-da, ba-da-da, oh, people get ready, there's a train a-comin'. You don't need no baggage, you just get on board. All you need is faith to hear those diesels humming. You don't need no ticket, you know you don't need no ticket. Oh, you don't need no ticket, you just thank the Lord.
Yeah, thank you so much.
At the Los Angeles National Cemetery, otherwise known as the Soldier Cemetery over in West LA. You all know where it's at, I think. And at 1:00, everybody's welcome. It's kind of odd. They only give you 1/2 hour and then they want you to leave immediately. So if you can come, though, that would be nice. This morning, first of all, I want to thank Jeannie. Jeannie texted me a little bit ago and said, a couple weeks ago maybe, and said, can I do anything? And I said, I absolutely have no idea how to do a memorial. I've never been called on to do a memorial. And she took it and she ran with it. And here we are. I want to thank Heather. My guide, she walks this world with me, and she brought all the food. I want to thank my friend Jeanette, that we've walked together for about 12, 13 years, and her beautiful voice. I want to thank all my girls my sponsees that showed up today. I love you all. I want to thank all of Tom's friends that showed up today. And I want to introduce, this is our family. Karen's his daughter. This is my great nephew, Colin, Sean. My beautiful niece, Cherise, her husband, Ed. The next row is Perry, Sam, Tom's his grandson actually, Nathan. Where's Cap? There's his sister Kathy and her partner Olga. And I'm missing somebody. Where's that? Oh, she had to leave because the baby was fussy, but Allie was here. His cousin, Jan, came up from San Diego, and her husband. For the last number of years, Tom's been very, very ill, and most of you know that. And I forgot. I really forgot who he really is, or was, until I put on Facebook that he had passed. And hundreds of people responded, just like here. And they were saying who he was. I lost that in the caregiving. And I don't know if Betsy's here or not, but Betsy and I were sitting together at Valley Club, and she started reflecting on the double winners meeting when Tom was secretary. And I could see him young again. And I put up some pictures, including some where he's really skinny. I don't know how many of you knew how skinny he really was. Don knows how skinny he really was, because Don was the manager of the first baseball team that Tom got on. For Radford. And then people started saying things to me like, he saved my life. He was my hero because he sat there in that wheelchair. And many of you may not know, when he got sober, when I said, Don, that was in 82. They played softball. He shot pool. He bowled. He danced. He was an active, wonderful man. And sitting in that wheelchair had to be the hardest thing for somebody that was as active. Karen, his beautiful daughter right there. He loved it. He loved life, and he loved to be active, and he'd go to meetings, and he's secretary meetings, and Moore Park, and the double winners. And I forgot all that. And you guys brought it to me again because I got caught up in making sure he stayed his life as long as he could. And Peter, oh my God, 2001, Tom had a stroke. And he couldn't really walk. The automatic was gone. We all walk automatically. We put one foot, then the other, then one foot, then the other. He couldn't do that. He had to think left foot, right foot, right foot to walk. And Peter got him on a bike, and they were biking 17 miles a week. I love this man. Anyway, this morning I texted Jeannie and I said, I don't want to do this today. I don't want to do this today because it makes it real. He was in the hospital so much in the last 10 years that him not being home doesn't make it real. Not all the time. Because I can just think he's in the hospital, he's going to come. But you guys showing, and Jack, where are you, Jack? Put your hand up. Put your hand up. Stand up, stand up. He drove down from above Sacramento. And brought his dog, who I love. Linda, where are you? Linda? Way down there in the back. That's my matron of honor from when Tom and I got married. Her husband, who left us many years ago, was one of Tom's best friends and his best man at our wedding. You guys make life for me. And Kathy and Danny, where are you? And Scotty. I don't know who else here because there's so many of you. But we meet every Thursday at my house used to be our house, at 11:30, and we talk about life. We call it having an AA meeting. We try to stay to the, format. And everybody's welcome. I met Tom in 1984. I saw him at Bradford, 43. This just doesn't work for me that much, but 43. Sitting in the front row. I was a secretary. And he stood up, and with those big, giant blue eyes, and that smile, I fell in love immediately. I didn't know it. It took time, but there was something about who he was. And then I had this friend, and her husband had left her and made her feel less than life, less than dirt, the way he left her. And he never hit on her, but here's what she said to me. Tom saved my life because he made me feel beautiful. This was a talent that I know my husband had. He could sit with anybody, and make them feel worthy, make them feel special, make them feel beautiful or handsome, or whatever category you want. Great loss for me. But the one thing I know is I'm not going to drink or use because that would dishonor him. And I have no desire for either. I'm in pain. I honor that pain because it tells me how deeply I cared about my husband. And that's about enough for me right now. I'm going to call on the man that, now many of you might not know this about Tom, that Tom had a temper. It kind of ran in the family. But he used to share, and it broke my heart that towards the end he couldn't share the things he always shared. But he used to share, I go from mild irritation to blackout rage. And that was part of who he was, but it was also part of the PTSD he suffered. The other thing Tom was incredibly proud of, and you know it if you've been in a meeting with him, is that he was a Vietnam veteran who survived Vietnam. Where are you, Teresa? Teresa? I saw you before. There she is. Teresa and Tom were in a pain management group where Tom learned to deal with the PTSD and found himself free of it again. Thank you, Teresa. Any one of you made such a difference in all our lives. That's what we do here. We share from our hearts, we share from our souls, we share from our life experience, and then we heal. And I'm going to ask Peter to come up, but Peter, remember what I told you.
Go first.
So, this is the man that Tom and Peter's called brothers.
I'm an alcoholic. My name's Peter Green. Bless all of you. Bless all of you. I was just talking with. Can't hear you, Peter. What is it?
Get close to the mic.
Blue. So I'm honored to be here. Tom and Harriet, October 27, 1985. They scraped me up off the floor at Chandler Lodge. And from that time to this day, pure love. And Tom was my go-to. And I couldn't have had a better go-to. He was an example to follow. This cursing business, sometimes I did it on purpose. Just to hear him reprimand me. That's how close we were. I trusted him. I trusted that man. There's a lot of friends in this Paul. And I want to thank Harriet for, hey Todd. Harriet, thank you so much. So much. He taught me how to love sober. And I needed a gentleman like Tom. Listening to his physical history. And I'm standing here before you, feeling him as I am standing here, sharing. He saved my life. He saved my life. And Harriet, my female sponsor.
Unfortunately.
She said, unfortunately. On that note, God bless everybody. God bless.
When I met Tom, I also won a big lottery, and that was called the Bickel family. And Tom has one remaining sister, and I'm going to ask her to say a few words. Kathy?
Hi, everybody. I'm not an alcoholic. I'm still part of the family. I didn't know I'd be up here talking, but just a short. I'm very grateful, very grateful. I didn't expect to be the last sibling left. And I just wanted to say that I'm very grateful for this program for Tom. I'm very grateful for his love. You kept him going for so long, and I know that even though I threatened him with the wish of his life to not leave me here alone, I know he struggled during these last times, and I know that he's up there partying with all the rest of my family and aunts and uncles. And I'm just grateful that he had all of you in the program. And that I'm just a grateful person that he's now in heaven. Okay.
Michael Roderick, where are you? They played golf for years together.
I'm Michael, I'm alcoholic.
Michael.
Higher, Michael. A little higher with the mic.
Thanks, Mom. I don't do this. I've been to too many memorials, and I Ching Bob, for those of you that knew him, he's the only memorial I ever spoke at besides this one. I love Tom Bickel. I spent some time in the Marine Corps, and I have a great deal of respect for any man that served our country. I believe 3 tours in Vietnam on gunboats. He didn't have to do that. And Agent Orange is what took him out. He dedicated his life to his country. And I was sitting back there with Sam earlier when he mentioned that he played with Don Maxwell. He played with Sam and I, the original Radford softball team. And he wasn't, and I don't mean to say this in a bad way, he wasn't that athletic. Nor were a number of us on that team. But we played with heart. And these guys had never won anything athletically, but because we played together, we encouraged each other, we started to win. And it was a phenomenon that because I'm athletic and I've been through that, because we played together, we started winning, and it went to their heads. Anyways, having said that part, Tom was a part of that. That's when I first started to get to know Tom. And through the years, I've gained a great deal of love and affection for Tom. And we would go to see him in the hospital, Tom, Peter and I, and Mimi was back there and others. There's a legacy of Alcoholics Anonymous, the men and women that came before. Tom, I believe his sobriety date was the 3rd of September or the 2nd?
28th of
June. Okay.
It's on the bottom. Yeah. It's on the bottom right there.
Okay. Anyways, he was ahead of me because mine is in September.
Right.
And I would look forward to his birthday because I knew mine was coming up. And we would celebrate that together. And there was a couples meeting on Friday nights at the Church of the Chimes. And a bunch of us couples, before we were married, would attend that meeting through the years. Don was there and others. And this is a fellowship, you know, and Tom was a big part of that. And I'm gonna miss him sorely. And Harriet, who knew Tom better? You know, I watched them before they got married.
Oh. Not pretty.
And Tom was a player.
Yeah, he was a painful.
And the fact that they were able to get together and stay together all these years afterwards, that was awesome.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, for real. For those of you that aren't sure if you're gonna make it, they did. Possibly you can. Stay sober. Love you, Tom.
Thanks, Michael.
I'll share something Tom used to share once in a while that Michael reminded me of. There were 4 couples that got married the year we got married. And I stole this from Michael's wife. I asked, Tom was a runner. He ran like crazy. And I didn't know he needed to be married to be settled down, but he did. I never intended to be married. But when we got married, I told Tom, I don't believe in divorce. I believe in homicide, but not divorce. And he was there for many years thereafter. He would share. I thought of running, because that's what he'd done his whole life. But then I wondered if she was serious. Karen, come on up. This is one of Tom's youngest daughters.
Hi, thank you for everybody coming. I was thankful to be able to spend the last few years taking care of my dad as a caregiver until it got too hard on me. But I'm very thankful for Harriet and my dad because they were just amazing to me and my family. I'm gonna miss all our cruises. We had such a ball on the cruises. I know he's not in pain anymore, you know, because watching him every day was, you know, it was hard. It was hard. So I'm grateful for everybody and all the faces I haven't seen in a long time and meeting new people and thank you and God bless.
Thank you.
Daryl,
Of course, and here he comes.
come on, mister.
Give me a break.
You know, on Monday nights, there's a meeting called Spirit of, no, what's it called?
Chapter 12.
Chapter 12. And a bunch of the men in this room go to that meeting, and this is one of them. And Tom was the coffee maker for a number of years.
Coming to me. I'm Daryl V, and I'm an alcoholic.
Daryl.
And Peter and Michael were great friends.
Into the microphone.
Peter and Tom were great. And Michael and Peter were great friends of Tom's. What Harry didn't say at that Monday night meeting, we never knew what would happen at the Monday night meeting. Whether Peter was going to have to drive Tom to the hospital, which happened more often than we know what to do with. And he would, where's Tom? Well, where's Peter? They're gone. Okay, hospital. We didn't have to question it. That's what Tom spent all of his years battling. And the other thing is, I don't know if anybody can get up here and say anything nasty or bad about Tom. He was just one of those guys that you looked at, you smiled, and he made you feel, as Harry pointed out, okay. That's a gift. No words, just his presence. But also, when we talk about Tom, you have to talk about Harry. Well, you know, you did more. They were together. They were a team. They were a unit. We used to see, with the advent of Zoom, Harriet's in front, and Tom was in the bedroom, and we just barely see into there. But he wouldn't miss a thing. Nothing. Nothing. And like Peter said, first of all, when it came to swearing, he didn't want you to swear in a meeting or out loud or in a conversation that you didn't need to. Did he ever swear? Yes. So he would tell you when you could and when you could not. If we get to the truth about Tom. But his kindness is what I will always, always remember. His kindness. And his love of that lady was unimaginable. I mean, total. I mean, they were a team. They were a team. And the one thing I'll shut up with, I remember right after this, when I talked to her, she went from a caregiver to a widow. I can't even say those words. I went to see The Notebook the other night. Don't go see it. Don't go see it. It's about dementia, and it's about the love of a husband and a wife who reads the notebook that she wrote of their life. Mindy looked at me for 2 hours. I was in tears. Because I know the love that they had for each other. Because I'm fortunate enough to have that with my wife. And for 2 hours, I cried because I could not imagine her with that. And what always came into my brain is for the last 15, is that fair?
Easy, yeah.
Yeah, the last 15, you were taking care of Dad. You never left his side, ever, ever. Peter was always there to take him. Michael always showed up. We were there occasionally. I got to the vet, I got to VA occasionally. I got to Long Beach once and figured that's too far. I'll see you when you're closer, Tom. When you come back to Westwood, I'll be glad to come see you. And when I could tell him that honestly. It was honest. You didn't have to lie to Tom. So with that, I'm going to shut up and let somebody else come up. And I did not swear.
You're the one.
And that's hard.
That was shocking to me when my darling Jeannie said to me, everybody thinks of you as Harriet and Tom. Because I always think of me as Harriet. And I guess that's how, and then John Warren said, yep, everybody talks about Harriet and Tom. Okay. Julie, I know you don't want to, but I really want you to. Please come up. Come on, you can do it, baby. I'll stand with you. This is the only person that ever could tell Tom anything, and he would automatically say, okay.
Wow.
I am Julie. And I've known Tom and Harriet for many years. I had a long relationship with Tom's sister, and I became a Bickel. And that's what I was known as, a Bickel. And Tom and I had really a strong connection with the whole family. But like Harriet said, Tom and I had this special connection. And it was, I can't even explain it at that time, you know, but it was like Harriet said, you know, I could be honest with him, talk with him, and he would just listen, and it was something special for me because of the way he responded to me. It was it was something very special to me. And the family has always been very special to me and continues to be. And Kathy and I have been just so tight and so close together for so many years. And Harriet and I have been extremely close. And not in AA, but I've been in Al-Anon for many years, and we had a connection. I always feel like AA and Al-Anon, the only thing that's different is not drinking, but everything else is the same. Emotions, the caring, the things we go through, and I'm so grateful. And I didn't even know I could say a word.
Of course you could, come on. My favorite with Julie and Tom was complaining about having somebody do something for him and he didn't like the way it was done. And Julie simply said to him, if you give somebody something to do, you need to accept the way they do it. And Tom said, oh. Jack, where are you? This is Tom's longest sponsee and dear friend, but he lives way up in Northern California.
Yeah, my name's Jack. I'm an alcoholic. So, probably about 26 years ago, I was being sponsored by Marie Stenner.
Mike, hold it up. Here you go. Try again.
Is this better?
Much better.
That's one of the things I love about the old Radford. You'd have these guys who were sound men at the studios, and my name is Jim. I'm an alcoholic. Anyway, it was about 26 years ago. I was being sponsored by Marie Stenner, and her health was failing, and she says, look around the rooms, find somebody who seems to have what you want, and get them to sponsor you. I looked around, I saw Tom, I saw Harriet, and I was a bachelor, and I really would like to have gotten married and had, a family. So I asked Tom to sponsor me, and he said, well, that's fine, but Harriet's part of the deal. And he did a great job at that. That's why I am a bachelor living in Sacramento. With an English setter who needs some puppy downers. Anyway, no, you know what? He was one of the best sponsors I've ever had. He was, tell Tom the idea of what Tom was really like, okay? Tom got sick in 2000, I think it was. It was early 2001. He got really sick, and he was obviously falling apart. And then September 11th came, and Tom was so pissed off that he couldn't re-enlist. Wow. Okay. He was ready. He was not only too old, but he was falling apart. He wanted to go. Let's go. That was Tom. He became an incredibly gentle man. I'll say one last story and I'll shut up. I promise. At one point I came down, I was having really severe stomach pains, and I was 49, and so this was last year. And, anyway, I was having severe stomach pains. I said, okay, well, you're 49, at 50 you should have a colonoscopy anyway, so let's do a colonoscopy. And let's also, they did the endoscopy down the throat. They did the two at the same time, so I guess they were going to meet in the middle. And,
Endoscopy, yeah.
Tom gave me a ride to the procedure. And I came out of the procedure, and I'm in the recovery area, and I'm sitting there on this bed, surrounded by curtains, and I have not talked to the doctor yet. They told me the doctor's gonna come in and talk to you. I said, great. And I don't know if I got cancer, I don't know what it is. It turns out it was an ulcer and diverticulitis or something. So I just changed my diet and I'm fine. But I'm sitting there and I'm worried. And I'm just nervous about, what are they gonna come up with? And Tom peeks his head around the curtain, and like Harriet said, it's gonna be okay. You know, when you hear people talk about death and dying, they have these near-death experiences. They talk about how there's a family member there that you meet who's gonna guide you. Tom would be that family member for me. You know? So, yes, you, Tom.
Who's Heather?
Yeah.
No.
Without Heather, I don't know that I would have been able to walk through all of this.
Hi, my name's Heather. I'm an alcoholic. And I'm going to steal a line from Tom. I'm grateful and I'm blessed.
Yeah.
You know, he said that all the time. And I was thinking about it, and I met Tom probably 2001, right after, because he and Peter would meet at Radford on Ventura and go hunting afterwards. Oh, Mike. And but so I met Tom, and I called him once to ask him to speak at a meeting, and Harriet answered the phone, and she scared the kajeebies out of me. You know, her voice, just her voice. I'd never met her, and then they used to come to the Double Winners meeting, and I had a sponsor at the time who something happened and she just stopped talking to me, and I was devastated. I didn't know why, there was no explanation, and I'd come in every Friday night and sit next to Tom and Harriet, and Harriet would just pat me on the leg, and one time she said, why don't you just give me a call, and Tom and Harriet have sponsored me for 20 years, and it is Tom and Harriet, no matter what that man went through, he was always happy. I never heard him complain when he lost his leg. I didn't hear, I never heard him complain. And he was just such a beautiful example of the grace that we get here. So I'm very grateful and I'm very blessed. Thank you.
Don Maxwell. Haven't seen you in a while, but
Without falling.
getting to be an old man, huh?
That is
like
correct.
us.
That is correct. Give me some. Hi everyone, my name is Don and I am an alcoholic.
Don.
And I got to tell you something, a couple things I want to tell you about Tom and about us. And I'm in the back, I don't know the family, but I'm so glad you guys are here, and I'm so glad you get to see who Tom hung out with. And that's us, the Alcoholics Anonymous. When we were coming over, I wasn't feeling so happy and joyous and free. And have the memories and seeing the gang, I feel a lot better, and so who do I have to thank? Tom. Thank you for this. They talk about elder statesmen and all that stuff. I had 6 more months than Tom, so so he'd come to me, and I didn't know that he could tell women that they were beautiful and handsome. And the reason I didn't know is he never told me that. And that was devastating to hear too. For the family and friends and so forth, and there's a lot of different groups. The military, the work, the family,
the AA, the Al-Anon. Terry and I always went to the double winners. We loved it, and it was always good to see everyone. And one of the things that Tom would, I guess he trusted me, and we would talk. One of the rooms that we talked in the AA rooms, and the other rooms we talked in were the rooms down at the VA. We live over by there, and I was able to get over there sometimes bring a guy with. And I got to tell you one story that I think you'll like, because I think it's so it tells about Tom. One time I went in there, and they give us little chairs to sit by the beds and everything. There's four, where I would go, most of the time there'd be 4 beds in there, and putting 4 of our service members in there. And one time I went in there, and I sat all the way down, and he said, "Don, I'm fine. Go over and talk to him."
Wow.
I got chills. And that was a, you know, we learn around, well, I mean, everyone learns it, but I'm an alcoholic, so I had to hang out with you guys to learn it, just to think about someone else. And I think the guy I talked to, he probably was very happy. Maybe he didn't get a visitor, I don't know. You know, that was, and also sometimes when I take a guy over that I sponsor, he would take us around the hospital. And, you know, it was like he knew everybody, you know, and introduce us, and it was such a, well, I mean, if it's possible, when one of your friends is sick, it was a nice experience, an experience we would have all missed if we hadn't run into Alcoholics Anonymous. And I remember I think he trusted me pretty much, because he was able to talk to me about Harriet. And I know he loved you, but I'm going to tell you something you might not know. He adored you. And you know, and you know that, and do I owe, and Terry owe, a debt of gratitude to Terry, to Harriet, because of Cliff Pello and Harriet Bickel, we're still married. So that is a great thing. She's Terry's sponsor, and you know, and I'm glad the family is here, and each one of you have your experience. And there's a thing, and we have a big book in Alcoholics Anonymous, but there's another a big book, and in that big book, it talks about you know, however, if we take care of one another and all is good, and we search for a power greater than ourselves, we will have everlasting life. Now, the interesting thing, family and friends, anytime we think about Tom, he is alive in our heads. The promise of everlasting life. I thank God for my sobriety. I thank God for this memorial, and I thank God for Tom. Thank you.
Jan, would you like to share? Tom's cousin. Come on up, girl.
Geez, I wasn't planning on this, but I'll try to remember a few things in my life. One thing I do remember is when Tom, I always called him Tommy, because he was Tommy to me. I know everyone calls him Tom, but I will continue to call him Tommy forever. And when I was in 2nd grade, Tommy came and stayed with our family. He was going to boot camp down in San Diego. Kathy, help me out if I'm wrong with any of this. But he was at 42nd Street, I believe, and he was in the Navy, and he was graduating. And I think the family was in Vegas at the time. Were you guys all in Vegas, or back in maybe Indiana? Maybe Vegas. Vegas. Okay, so he was staying with my mom and dad and my 2 brothers and myself. And we were all very young. I was in 2nd grade. I had a brother, my brother Tom, another Tom, who was 2 years older than me, and I have a brother younger than me, Gary, who lives in Georgia with his family. And we all got out of school, which we were excited about. We were all at St. Mary's in Escondido, and we all got to go to Tom's graduation from boot camp. And I remember he was in his, what are you know what they're called? Yes, he was with the hat, the white hat, and his navy outfit. And of course, you know, being 7, 8 years old, I just kind of looked up at him and thought, he's my hero. My cousin Tommy was my hero. So we have a picture of that somewhere. I was telling Kathy I was going through some of the boxes at home because I still have all of my mom and dad's pictures. It's hard to part with those. But, and I'm gonna find that picture and I'm gonna send it to Harriet. And I will send that picture to Harriet and to Kathy because I can picture that, and I just remember that was so incredibly amazing to me to look at my cousin Tommy in this Navy outfit, Navy whatever, and graduating and becoming a part of the military. So that I do remember. I remember all the fun parties, all the pool parties. He was at our wedding 47 years ago. Tommy was, yeah. We were married at 5. But Tommy was quite the dancer. I do remember him being out on the dance floor, and boy, he knew how to cut the rug. So, but he's dancing up in heaven, I have no doubt, with Aunt Dee and all our family. So. Anyway, that is probably my one special memory of Tommy.
I think your dad was Tom's favorite uncle.
Yeah.
Probably they were very close.
Yes, the party.
Yes.
I'm looking and looking. Can't see everybody. Would anybody like to? Oh, John, come here. There you are. See you. You know, I don't know how many of you saw online that Tom had passed. It was on Facebook. People told me later that probably wasn't the best thing to do, but I knew he knew a lot of people, just like all these people here. And I didn't have all your phone numbers. So when Tom passed, Heather said John would like to put something on Facebook. But he wants your permission. And so a lot of you, the first that you saw that it was on Facebook was when Tom was at Barlow Respiratory in the big mask that they had on him. And my beloved John put it online for me. Thank you.
I'm John Warren, alcoholic. You know, it's funny, so many of the things have been said. I said, oh, that's who Tom was. That is it, you know, because there were so many things. And Harriet mentioned it earlier about how joined they were. I remember looking in my contacts. I went to call Harriet, and everything's Tom and Harriet. Everything. Oh, I'm going to Tom and Harriet's house. And that hasn't changed. I mean, that's just, they were almost literally joined at that, you know, and I've never seen a man who loves his wife as much as Tom did. Never. And it was never about her being a caretaker. It was never about all she did for him. It was who she was and who she was to him, irrespective of any of his physical limitations. I used to love to, Daryl said it, I used to try and go see Tom as often as I could when he was in the hospital, except the drive to Long Beach drove me crazy. And whenever I'd be talking to her, he'd be like, oh, you know, Tom's back in the hospital. Oh, really? And the next stop was, please let it be Westwood. Please let it be Westwood. But the one thing that I really wanted to mention, you know, it's been mentioned about Tom's smile, and Harriet mentioned the eyes. But I gotta tell you something, every single time I saw Tom, he made me feel like I was, you know, it sounds like a cliche, oh, I was the most important. No,
I felt like I was more important than everyone else he knew because he lit up. You know, Harriet mentions the meetings we still are, doing every Thursday at the house. And when I broke the plane to that front door and I said, "Hi, Tom," I always felt like, oh, it's John. I mean, that's how he made me feel. He lit up and his eyes got wide and then that big smile. And then, of course, it was always followed by a kiss on the lips, you know, big kiss. Because Tom was secure in doing that with another man. And I've never felt as good. I know that you like the kiss on the lips, don't you? There's another one, yeah. Yeah, Peter, oh my God, he won't let you out of it. Wait, come back, what? Kiss me on the lips. But that's what I always remember Tom best for. Two things. One, that they were joined. It was always Tom and Harriet. It'll always be Tom and Harriet to me. I don't know how for it not to be. And the other is how he made me feel when I was in his presence. I always felt so special. So that's the feeling that will stay with me always. And Tom, there was nobody like you, man. I love you so much, and I love you, Harriet. Thank you.
We're running toward the end here. I see you. Come on up. Craig, one of Tom's longest friends. You know, for a girl like me who had such low self-esteem when I got here, to meet this guy who, I'll put it this way, make it nice, an old boyfriend of mine saw our wedding picture and he said, your husband's handsome. Yeah, I ended up with him. How'd that happen? Come on, Craig.
No cutting.
Greg, alcoholic. My sobriety date is 12/1/85. I came in about 4 weeks after Peter, and he was the first DJ I ever met. That stands for Bug Job. Yeah, and I eventually met Tom and Harriet. I'm a Chandler face, okay? Radford was nice, but it wasn't good for me. I was too intimidated to get up on stage to do what I'm doing right now. That wasn't it, and yet I had the gift of gab. I was a street kid. That was the bottom line. So I really didn't have a problem, but I just couldn't do that. My first sponsor was Bill Stewart, the manager from Studio 12. That's basically where I went. And in Chandler, the first 9 o'clock morning meeting, we had Old Man A.B., and he was an Al-Anon. And I loved that guy too. And he would always want me to go with him over to Radford. I went a couple of times, but that's all for me. Nothing wrong with Radford. It was basically with me. And knowing Tom the way I did, a lot of you all said, he was a sweet man. For me, when I saw him and he saw me, we lit up. And I'm also a veteran. And the difference was Tom was in a hot war, I was in a cold war. I said, "What the hell were you there for 3 years for?" He said, "I wanted to kill myself." That's what he told me. I don't know what he ever told you guys, but that's what he told me. Yeah, he's shaking your head. Exactly. And I just embraced him, hugged him, and told him I loved him, and I'm so grateful that he's here right now. And then, later on in life, when he wasn't doing too well, it was my friend Bob Micheletti. We went down to Long Beach. We spent time with him down there. Dee Jennings, who's not here right now, he's taking care of his wife. She's ill. And we went down there, and we had a really good visit. Then there were times where it was Peter and Michael and me, and we went down there. We had no problems because this is how we felt about him. And this is what you call service, okay? And then there was another time that the three of us went and we brought Mimi with us, and this is all about service. This is how we felt about him. This is how we felt about the program, what we learned in this program, and I'm very grateful. I really am. And I'm going to miss him, I would see him occasionally up at the Valley Club and he would light up and I would light up, It just felt horrible.
seeing him the way he did, he didn't deserve what he got. He didn't. He was too good of a guy. I could think of worse others, but that wasn't the case. I'm not allowed to say certain things. It was written down for me, so I don't forget. Right, Peter? Anyway, thanks for letting me share. Oh, I forgot to say something. And when I got really introduced with Harriet, okay, we used to play bingo on Saturday nights, okay? And I was relatively new at the time. They still got the hooks up on top of the wall. And when it was over, I used to say, oh my God, what the hell am I gonna do? I gotta go home and be by myself. Oh, I was really nervous. It scared me, but she made it good for me. She said, you know what, I'll see you next week. Next week came, what had happened? I got massages. She was good.
And when he says that, I did physical therapy for a while. I trained as a masseuse. There's so many people I would like to call on that are here. And I don't want to take up all the time because I'd like for all of you to be able to celebrate together. Have a little sandwich, brown. We have, for those who went to the double winners on Friday night, we have Heather's brownies tonight. Famous. And I want to call Danny up. And you know, we have a small group that meets every Thursday at 11:30, as long as everybody's well enough to meet, because we're a bunch of old people. I'm one of the juniors with 80 years, you know. But Danny and Tom have a special friendship.
Hello, I'm Dan. I'm an alcoholic. My sobriety date, too bad, is 2 months short of Tom's. So I'm usually kind of upset, you know, his birthday's before I am. But when we got back from Florida in 2011, I think, we met Tom and Harriet, and it was the greatest thing. We'd spend a lot of time together. We'd go out to eat at the restaurants, different restaurants with other people in the program, and the best thing of all is we went every Thursday over to their house, and you know, I go in there and I go up and give Tom a hug and a kiss, and he looked up at me with his blue eyes. Said, "How you doing, Dan?" And I said, "I'm doing okay, you know. And how you doing, Tom?" And he said, "I'm doing okay." He smiled and everything, you know, and it was so special. And a couple of days before he passed, we went over to the hospital, and he looked so good and everything, and Kathy and I went up there. He was upset with the people in the hospital, you know, and like a lot of us are. And he had this ice, and he wanted more ice. And I said, "Well, get him some money. And what the hell do you need a bunch of ice for? I wanted it a big jug," because he was taking his, what is that stuff called?
Lucerna.
Lucerna.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Chocolate Lucerna. Pour it in there and drink. And I drink vanilla, so it's good. I'm a Vietnam vet too, and I like to see the hands of all the vets. Thank you, Peter. And Tom would have enjoyed that. He loved the VA, and he loved everything about life. And he loved Harriet. Thank you.
Thank you, Jeremy.
Like I said, I'd like, you know, anybody who's diabetic and likes
chocolate Lucerna, let me know. I have cases. I literally have 2 cases and probably a whole case in my refrigerator. You know, also, let's see, whatever, bed pads, you know, you name it. Seriously though, I'm gonna call this to an end. I hope that no one got offended that they didn't get called on. But please share with everybody that's here. I don't want this to be real. Of course not. But I am so grateful that I was able to spend almost we met 42 years ago, but like Don, who mentioned it? Oh, Michael, thank you for mentioning those first years. Yeah, they were hard. Kathy knows. Julie knows. Neither one of us knew how to have a relationship. And if you're new here, you may not know how to have an intimate relationship. Because, see, I was all about what I wanted. And if a guy didn't do or say what I wanted, he didn't need to be in my life. And I learned with Tom that he didn't have to do what I want or say what I want. He just had to be who I wanted. And he was the man I loved no matter what happened. And it was an honor and a privilege to be his caregiver for all those years. Nobody probably will ever beat the amount of times he was in West LA in 3 years. I mean, that's phenomenal. I know that the doctor I talked to was reading his, she wanted to talk to him, and she was reading his chart, and she had spent many hours doing so. And she said at a certain point, because he was in the hospital, she wanted to talk to him, but he was being released, and she called me and she said, I didn't get down there in time. I have never seen as many discharges from this hospital as Tom. I counted up to 36 in 3 years. And that's not all. There was a time that Peter tried to convince me that we could keep Tom out of the hospital by drinking water. So one afternoon when I was working, I put him in charge of Tom. And he called me at work and said, I had him drinking water and he's still not okay. Yeah, he suffered. Every one of our Vietnam vets that, including Danny and my friend Scotty there, I love you, Scotty, that served in that terrible, police action, war, has suffered. And it's, I don't remember who said it, but it's true. When we invaded Iraq, Tom sat on the couch, he looked at me with all the seriousness that any human being could have, and said to me, Harriet, you know I have to go. And I started laughing because he couldn't walk. He was an extreme diabetic, and I said, honey, they don't want you there. Anyway, thank you for all coming out. I'd like to close this with my friend Jeanette singing Amazing Grace, followed by, let's do the Lord's Prayer together, please.
Before Jeanette comes up, I want to remind everyone, if you parked in the garage, there's a validation thing out in the hallway. You just have to put your little card under. So, and then it knocks it down to $1 an hour, so don't forget that. And thank you all for coming, for participating. Thanks for the food, the drinks, the chairs, everything. And
Thank you, Jeannie, again.
And it's been my pleasure to be of service. Come up and sing, please.
Amazing grace, how sweet the sound that saved a wretch like me. I once was lost, but now I'm found. Was blind, but now I see. Through many endless toils and tasks, I have already come. 'Twas grace that kept me safe thus far, and grace will lead me home. Oh, oh, amazing grace, how sweet the sound that saved a wretch like me. I once was lost, but now I'm found. Was blind, but now I see.
Thank you, God.
If everyone wants to stand up and do the Lord's Prayer. Our Father,
Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses, as we forgive those who trespass against us. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, and the power, and the glory, forever. Amen. Keep coming back. It works when you work it.
Remember, there's lots of brownies and sandwiches and drinks.
Ice cream. This is Martha. I'm Martha.